Welcome to An Hour to Give. I'm Sam Laprade. This week is all about the Snowsuit Fund. And we know that that white stuff's going to be coming for us. We want to keep all those children in Ottawa nice and toasty warm so they can go out there and play and create those winter memories. And I'm so excited to welcome to the show Joanne Andrews and Martin Massey. Hello to you both.
Hello, Sam.
Nice to see you. And let's tell everybody, Joanne, what the important role is you have with the Snowsuit Fund.
Okay, thank you. I'm the general manager at the Snowsuit Fund and responsible for the operations at the depot.
And you are the only full-time staff person. Everyone else is volunteering.
Yes, I'm the only full-time staff person that works year-round, and I have a small seasonal staff that works with me from now till about Christmas, and many volunteers. We are very fortunate to have volunteers come and help us out on a weekly basis, and corporate volunteers also come and help us, yes.
And you're grateful for Martin, I know, because
yes,
he's the board chair, of course, and you lead a great team of volunteers there on the board, Martin.
Yeah, that's right. We're a volunteer board, as you said, and we've got a number of people from around the city that do many different things, and so we're very lucky to have a nice, big, and very, very involved board.
Very involved. I mean, yeah, honestly, if there's a charity in Ottawa that everyone knows about, it's the Snowsuit Fund. And I think as Canadians, we all have those memories of being kids and getting out there and playing in the snow, and we want every child to be nice and toasty warm.
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about how many snowsuits you've given out over the years.
Well, over the years, we've given close to 550,000 snowsuits. This season alone, we are already at 9,000 snowsuits distributed, and we expect to probably serve over 17,000 snowsuits this season. Our biggest day so far has been 401 snowsuits out in one day, so that's a lot of snowsuits and a lot of children warm and being able to enjoy the winter.
Absolutely. And those numbers, they're both heartwarming and heartbreaking at the same time. Families obviously need help, but that's why the Snowsuit Fund is there, Martin.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we have been providing snowsuits since about 1982. It's been cold in Ottawa since before 1982, but there was a need identified, and you know, I think anyone who lives in Ottawa knows that a snowsuit's a necessity. It's not a luxury, and particularly for if you're a kid, if you have to wait for a bus, you have to go play outside. You just can't get through the winter without a snowsuit. So it's unfortunate that we have 17,000, probably more, children in our community that need snowsuits, but we're here to help them and help them get through the winter and help their families get through the winter.
And absolutely. And Joanne, we've spoke for so many years about some families that come once. They just need that one-time help. We have families that have had to come back for a couple of years. But no matter what, I always think it's important that they know that it's going to be done. That whole opportunity is done with such dignity, Joanne.
Yes, we strive to make sure that the family's experience at the depot is a pleasant experience. We have a variety of snowsuits. We offer different colors, different styles. We really want to make sure that children are not easily identified in the schoolyard, as I've received my snowsuit from the Snowsuit Fund. So what we receive at the Snowsuit Fund, you can also purchase in stores. So we have a good variety. If they don't like pink, we're not going to say you have to have a pink snowsuit. We try to have a variety for them.
Yeah.
So.
As a mom, I'll tell you, I've taken my daughter for snowsuits, and first of all, they grow out of them very quickly, so it's hard to use them year over year. And also, they have their own personal preference. Martin, you remember being a young boy, I'm assuming.
Yeah, for sure. And I have to say that when we volunteer at the depot, one of the best things to do is to take out a couple, 2, 3 snowsuits and let a child choose. It makes them feel like they're going into a store and have the luxury of choice. And so it's nice to have nice new snowsuit, and they get to choose, and they get that dignity in the process.
Dignity is the word of the day.
As you said, yeah.
100%. And I know the Snowsuit Fund is really important, but you know who else does is Mayor Mark Sutcliffe. And he recently proclaimed it's Snowsuit Fund Day, which is fantastic. So tell me a little bit about this, Joanne, about this proclamation.
Well, it's great for the community to know about the Snowsuit Fund and that we are there not only to receive funds, but also to help our clients. So it's a great that we are being recognized in the community as the Snowsuit Fund Week.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yes.
And in this kind of recognition, it really just adds up that little, special moment, I think, leading up and launching the campaign. Martin, would you agree?
Yeah, well, it was presented to us at our launch, and this is our 43rd campaign. We started 42 years ago, so having Mayor Sutcliffe recognize the importance of the Snowsuit Fund, not just this year, but in past years since 1982, it was a really special moment, and nice to know that what we do is important to the city. And we know that, but it's nice to have someone else tell us once in a while.
sure.
So, yeah.
For sure, and I worked with Mayor Mark Sutcliffe in the radio business, in the media business for a long time. So he would have also heard the stories, Joanne, of families' lives who were literally changed with snowsuits. And you think about people that are maybe refugees coming to Canada. They're arriving in February. They don't have any clue about our winters. They see it as picturesque. Maybe they've seen a photo. They don't understand how actually cold it is.
It's very true, and I'm very fortunate to get to spend some time talking with our clients, especially as our season slows down. And I can recall last winter, someone came to the depot to get snowsuits for their family, and they were new to Canada. And he told me how he walked out of the airport and he ran back in because he said it was so cold.
Yeah.
So yes, we're very fortunate, and I think when they come and they receive the snowsuit, they are so grateful, and we get to see that every day and see the smiles on kids' faces, and it's a good feeling. It's a great feeling.
For sure. And I'm sure this time of year feels like this is a full-time job for you, being chair of the Snowsuit Fund. We know that you have another important job.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about your work.
Yeah, I'm a lawyer. I'm a senior partner at Norton Rose Fulbright here in Ottawa. We're across Canada and actually around the world, but we've got a nice office in Ottawa, and so one of the things we try to do in every city, but in particular in Ottawa, our Ottawa office, is try to get out there, impact the community. So as well as being a lawyer that does, regulatory work, I need a little excitement in my life. So I take on the role of the chair of the Snowsuit Fund for this year, and I've been on the board for 7 years, I think. So and we'll continue hopefully beyond this. So it's busy, particularly busy I'm a chair for this year and next year, but it's always busy. We have a very active board, and we have as busy as I am, there are many, many board members, almost all board members, who roll up their sleeves and help. When I joined, they told us, this is not a sit on the sidelines. You're going to be moving boxes, you're going to be driving stuff to people, and you're going to be out there in the community representing us. So it's been that so far, and this year in particular has been a bit more than usual.
And here's the thing, Joanne, and I don't know if you've seen this or not. I'm sure you have, but you may not realize how important it is from an outsider perspective. Is every single board member is so proud to be a board member.
Yes.
I know, as you know, I know many of your board members over the years, and everybody, they'll introduce themselves as a board member of the Snowsuit Fund before their actual job. That's how proud they are.
Absolutely, and actually when board members join our board, most never want to leave. So our board members are with us for a long time, and even when they do leave, they come back and still have a huge impact in our operations, and we need them very much so at the depot.
100%. And Martin, would you agree that of course the snowsuit is going to bundle up the little one, but it really is a gift for the family? I think it lets maybe a mom sleep better at night, a dad feel like he's working really hard and he's just getting this little bit of help. It really becomes a family snowsuit, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, as I mentioned, it is a necessity, but it's a necessity amongst others. And so one of the reasons that the Snowsuit Fund was started is to help people avoid the decision of having to pay for their utilities, pay for their groceries, and pay for a snowsuit or keep their child warm. So when we provide a snowsuit for a family, we're really keeping that child warm, but we're alleviating that family from that difficult decision. It's hard for us to imagine having to make a decision between keeping our children fed and housed and warm. And so we want to, what the Snowsuit Fund does is for the people who apply and are eligible, we provide them that warmth, and we provide that family peace of mind knowing that their kids will be warm for that winter.
And that's a gift.
Yeah,
Peace
that
of
is
mind
good.
as a
Yeah.
parent,
Absolutely.
right? We're going to meet a wonderful representative today from Giant Tiger a little bit later, Alison Scarlett, and have an opportunity to chat with her. But how important is it for you to buy those snowsuits and ensure that they're from Canadian suppliers?
Well, I've worked for many years with very dedicated suppliers that ensure that we have good quality snowsuits and that the children will be warm. We're very fortunate to have Giant Tiger as a partner with the Snowsuit Fund, and we'll actually be receiving a delivery of snowsuits next week from Giant Tiger that will go directly to our clients. So it's very important to have them as part of our team.
What does it look like when those snowsuits arrive? What is it? Is it an exciting day? Is it overwhelming?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
especially if we are low on sizes. It's
Right.
a very exciting day to have the racks full and have lots of choices for our clients. So it's very exciting.
And I don't know about you, Martin, but and obviously as a board member, you would be giving as well. I think everybody that has ever had a child experience a winter, and like my child doesn't need snowsuit anymore. She's 16. It's hard to get a jacket on her even as a teenager. But I think it's my responsibility to give back to the Snowsuit Fund as a parent who was lucky enough to be able to do it on my own. I really think it's my responsibility.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think we all know what it is to not just be, I mean, what not having a snowsuit does is it really, it doesn't, the child is not warm, but in addition, it's really, it can be exclusionary. It can exclude them from activities, make them feel like they can't join in. And so as a parent, we all know that we want to keep our kids warm, but we also want our kids to enjoy winter and be part of whatever winter has to offer, whether it's at school or at home or in the neighborhood. So, you know, as a parent, you know how important that is. And so giving back by supporting the Snowsuit Fund is something that's part of the motivation. I have 2 boys, and I know how important it is for them to be fed and also warm over the winter, and that's what motivated me to join. And I think a lot of parents support us for that reason.
For sure, beautifully said. We're going to come back. You're going to stay with us, thank heavens, and we're going to have other guests today talking about the Snowsuit Fund and how important it is, encouraging and inspiring people to give as well today. So we're going to come back. Joanne Andrews is going to stay with us, and Martin Massey. I hope you're going to stay with us here on An Hour to Give. I don't know if you can feel that chill in the air, but certainly the people at the Snowsuit Fund are thinking about all of those really cold days that are come and making sure that all the children in Ottawa have the snowsuit that is right for them. And I'm so excited today to welcome back to the show Martin Massey and Joanne Andrews. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got so much to talk about today. And I love talking about how organizations got started. What started this organization? So let's talk about Joanne Gullen and Ralph Tannis.
Okay, well, I worked for Ralph Tannis when the Snowsuit Fund started. I remember Joan coming into the office to pitch the idea of they needed a snowsuit fund in Ottawa. And Ralph was a businessman at that time and had many contacts. And Joan was a social worker and needed to get the word out, and Ralph was the person to do that. So they joined together and they formed the Snowsuit Fund with the help of many others. So,
what an incredible legacy that they contributed to this community. Could you ever imagine that it would grow to this? I mean, would they have ever imagined?
Yeah, I think it was interesting, and because they were pretty different people from what I understand. I never got to know them. I knew, you know, Ralph was as a name in, you know, Fat Alberts and Ralph's, and he was involved, I think, with the Rough Riders. So he was quite the personality, and Joan was a social, but he was a businessman, and Joan was involved in social justice and social justice causes, but they came together because they both saw a need. So we are very happy that they did. And in fact, this year we are dedicating our 43rd season to their legacy, because as a board we owe everything to them. It was their idea, they put it together, And while we've grown quite a bit since what they started, they gave out 800 snowsuits the first year. We're now up to 17,000. They really, we owe everything to the idea and getting it off the ground. So our 43rd season is dedicated to our founders, Joan and Ralph.
And we lost Joan in 2022, Ralph in 2024. It's just such a wonderful opportunity for their families as well to see the impact that they've made.
Yes, they were very honored to attend our launch, and I think they were very pleased with the fact that they were being recognized this year for their starting the Snowsuit Fund. So yes,
yeah, it really is amazing. And the ways that you raise money are endless.
Right.
You have got from cookies to lotteries and everything in between. There's so many different ways. How important is it from a board chair perspective that you have that diversification in terms of funding?
Well, we are a grassroots organization. We don't get any government funding, so we depend on individual donors and businesses to sponsor and support us. So it's critical. We can't give out snowsuits if we don't get donations from the community. So it's very important. So we're out there. We do a lot of things to try to generate donations and funds from people, and we get a lot of donations from individuals, but we have a lot of different campaigns where both individuals and businesses can support us.
And I often think about this time of year, businesses are looking for that opportunity to give back, the giving season, if you will, but it's also an opportunity, and I know many organizations have stopped kind of giving little gifts to staff. They're like, we're going to actually go in and we're going to buy 10 snowsuits. You welcome that, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
And snowsuits are always welcome at the depot. And I'd also like to mention we are very fortunate to receive a lot of knitted items from our knitters.
Wow.
So they make us hats and mitts, and it's very well received by our clients. We try to ensure that every client receives a warm hat that was put into our a few years ago, that with the snowsuit they get a hat. So the knitters out in our community are very generous, and they're always bringing us in knitting, and snowsuits are always welcome at the depot.
If I could just add to that.
Of course.
One of the really important, from day one, sponsors of the Snowsuit Fund has been Brown's Cleaners.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that you can do is, if you don't want to come to the depot, if there's a Brown's Cleaners near you, they will take your snowsuit, dry clean it, and drop it off at the depot. So while we try to give brand new snowsuits to every child, sometimes we don't have the size, but often it's that a kid is just beyond the age limit, or they might not have everything required to prove eligibility, but we try not to let a kid in need leave our. So the gently used snowsuits are really helpful for people, and to make sure that no one leaves our depot without a snowsuit.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because there was a year where I had to get another snowsuit, and my daughter, honestly, she might have worn it 3 times.
Yes.
And I ended up donating it, but I really think it's an important piece for people to know that they might have something that looks pretty good. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We use them all the time, so
Yeah.
they don't go to waste.
Let's talk about all the ways people can donate, because we could be here like 4 or 5 hours, which is fantastic. But it is an hour to give, so we're going to get through all of this. So can we talk about Tim Hortons for a second? Yeah. I mean, I know many people associate with Tim Hortons, Susan Dennison being one of them, so incredibly supportive through the cookie campaign, the Smile Cookies.
Smile Cookie.
So talk a little bit about the Smile Cookie campaign.
Well, we are very fortunate to receive the donations from the Smile Cookie campaign. Last year was over 300,000 that we received, so we are very fortunate they are supporters at the Snowsuit Fund.
It really is incredible. And we have a very exciting dinner in a box opportunity. Tell me about that.
So every year what we try to do, this was obviously during COVID we couldn't have a gala, so we decided that we do sort of a stay-at-home gala, and so it's a dinner party in the box, and we've maintained it because we've got a great sponsorship. It's curated by Bechta. Stephen Bechta has been a great supporter of ours, and so people know that they're getting a fantastic meal. And so through the years, even though we are now having our snowball in February, we still a live event. We are still doing the dinner party in a box, so it's for sale until the end of November. They will be delivered on November 30th, and so it's a fantastic. It's a meal for 2. This year the theme is Italian, so which is, you can never go wrong with Italian. And it comes with pretty much everything you need to do to have not just dinner. It's not just dinner, it's really a dinner party. So there's swag and drinks, and there's alcoholic beverages. So there's everything that you need just to sit down, reheat, sit, and enjoy. So it's very popular. So that's all on sale on our website, snowsuitfund.com.
Fantastic. So there's a win-win. I mean, you've got Stephen Bechta, Italian food, and the Snowsuit Fund.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
I'll take it all. That's bingo. That's fantastic. And I can't tell you how proud I am to be associated with Rogers, knowing what we've done with your 50/50 over the years. As you know, many, many years ago, I was really involved. I was so proud to be doing this. Talk to me a little bit about the 50/50.
Well, the 50/50, a lot of people wait for that, and we'll start getting calls, when are the 50/50 tickets going on sale?
Yeah.
So it's a very successful campaign, and we're very proud to be the recipient of the proceeds from the campaign of the 50/50. This year they will be shared with the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, collaboration is everything, right,
Absolutely.
Martin? Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we've, we're lucky. It starts this year. Tickets go, I think the launch is November 25th. And we have another important supporter is Canadian Tire. So they donate,
That's correct.
where there's going to be weekly prizes throughout the campaign. And so we're launching on November 25th. The draw is in January 17th. So, it's a good opportunity. And, we're very, very, very proud to be sharing the proceeds. Obviously the winner gets half the
Yes, they get
proceeds,
half.
and then
Yeah.
for the balance and the net proceeds that come out of that, we're sharing with the Boys and Girls, BGC Ottawa, which, if you think about it, they're a lot of our clients, a lot of people who use our services, they also use BGC, so there's a real nice connection between the two, and so it's a great campaign, and the fact that we, the Snowsuit Fund benefits, but also BGC Ottawa is great, and it's great for the city.
I think it's only going to bolster it, to be honest with you. Like, I get excited at having both great charities involved, and obviously people that have dedicated time to you over the years, they're going to be on board again, and it's going to be great.
Quite
So that's wonderful, very exciting.
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to say, okay, I'm going to buy a snowsuit, listen, my husband doesn't need anything, or my wife doesn't need anything, I want to buy a snowsuit in their name this Christmas. How much would that be, and how could they do that?
To purchase a new snowsuit, it's $50, so they can make a donation online. They can make and say that the donation is in the name of someone. We will send them a note saying that the donation was made in their name, and they just click Donate Now on our website, and that'll take them right to it.
Are you surprised at the generosity of this community, Martin?
You know what? I've been involved in other organizations, and one of the things that shocks me still to this day, years on with the Snowsuit Fund, is the recognition of the Ottawa community. And I keep saying this, there are other places that give out snowsuits, but the Snowsuit Fund is really an Ottawa thing. I mean, it's really unique to Ottawa. There are other organizations that do it elsewhere, but nowhere near as big. And I think it's because we all know that in Ottawa, snowsuits are a necessity, so the community comes up big every time. And we have people who come in who just say, we had a fundraiser at our office, we had a fundraiser at our Christmas party or holiday party, and we all pass the hat and donate it, and they come in, and we do, that's without outreach, without anything. So that we really are fortunate to have such great support from our community. Year after year, it's surprising. We always get surprised every year with somebody who comes
That's
in.
great. That's
And then we have repeaters, repeat givers, which is
Absolutely.
fantastic too. So.
And I think one of the most beautiful things, a couple of years ago, you had me interview this wonderful gentleman who had received a snowsuit and then volunteered, and that circle.
And now on our board.
And on the board. I mean, just
That's
like,
right.
oh my gosh.
Yes.
So we've only have a couple of minutes left, about a minute left. Joan, what would you say, or Joanne, if you could go back and say something to Joan and Ralph, if you could go back to 1982 and say something to them now, knowing what you know and the impact they've made, what would you say to them?
I would say a huge thank you for both of them. I'm very honored that I worked with both, and grateful that I've had that opportunity. But to know the impact they've made on many children's lives is very important, and I think I would definitely say thank you.
Yeah. And what would you say to all those people thinking that they may make a gift this year to the Snowsuit Fund?
Please do. We're happy to get your donations, and you can know that what's the great thing about the Snowsuit Fund is a donation goes towards a snowsuit, and it goes onto the back of a child and gives a child warmth in Ottawa.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever get tired of looking at snowsuits?
No.
All the different styles
I'm
over the
always
years.
looking for snowsuits. Always looking for snowsuits.
And they've
yes.
changed so much.
Yes.
I mean, mine, I look like
absolutely.
the Michelin Man, and now they seem to be more streamlined, which is fantastic.
Yeah, no, they're not like that now.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed my time with both of you, and we're not done. We're going to continue talking about the Snowsuit Fund and have a great conversation and really inspire, hopefully, and encourage people to donate to the Snowsuit Fund in all those amazing ways that you have. Thank you so much for everything you do, and thank you as well.
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you
you,
very
Sam.
much. Martin Massey joining us, of course, and Joanne Andrews talking all about the Snowsuit Fund. But we're not done. Come on back to An Hour to Give. Well, I promised we'd be back on An Hour to Give to talk more about the Snowsuit Fund, and here we are. I'd like to introduce to you John Robinson and Allison Scarlett. Hello, you two.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have you here.
Thank you.
And Allison, we have known each other a while.
We have, yeah.
And I love all things Giant Tiger, of course, because it's such a beautiful family-owned business. So tell me a little bit about your role.
So I am in charge of communications and corporate social responsibility, which means I get to tell people why Giant Tiger is a phenomenal place to shop, work, and why we're so proud to be in the communities that we call home.
It's amazing. And of course, John's come as well from Integra IT. Tell me a little bit about your role.
So I'm the president and CEO of Integ IT. We are an IT services, boutique IT services company here in Ottawa. So we do all stuff IT. Now cybersecurity is very famous, so we're protecting people from cyber criminals.
Thank heavens.
Yes,
Thank heavens.
yes.
Absolutely amazing. And you both believe in the Snowsuit Fund. And I think it's a really important piece to really, talk about the family side. Of course, Mr. Gordon Reed, such an incredibly family-oriented person that took this business and has created this family across this country of Giant Tiger employees, and giving back always was at the core.
It really is at the heart of who we are. We like to say it's in our DNA.
Yeah.
And it really started from the first day that Mr. Reed opened the doors in his very first store in Ottawa's Byward Market. We understand that we have a responsibility to make our communities better. And Mr. Reed is famous for saying, when your customers are your neighbors, you want to do things right. And so that is what all 265 of our franchise partners do every single day. It's what our 10,000 employees across the country do.
Wow.
It really is who we are.
Wow, it really is incredible. And last year I had a chance, I think I've been there pretty much every year, to go to the Snowball, which is always a big, exciting night in town on a very chilly February. Last year we all got together for the Snowball. You're really involved.
Yeah, I really like the Snowball. I think it's very underestimated in the city. A lot of people don't realize it's a great setup. It's a mixer. It's not a sit-down dinner, so it's very informal. There's things for everybody. There's nice tastings, different menus to taste from, and beverages to try, alcoholic or not.
Absolutely, and great entertainment. I was grooving away last year,
Yeah.
and I hope you didn't witness it in person. But yeah, it was great. We had a great time. I went with some friends last year, and the whole Rogers crew was there. It's great to see everyone. It just seems like everybody in town is at the Snowball.
Yeah, there's something for everybody, and it's the middle of the winter. A lot of people are running events in the fall, so it's nice to basically kick off spring, do this great party. I would call it a party.
It is
that's
a party.
Really what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's things for everybody, different music, different DJs, like live music. So it's really nice.
Yeah, it's very well done every single year. Now, you, I don't know how you do it, by the way. I've said this to you 100 times. You are everywhere. I'm like, I follow you on LinkedIn, and I'm like, can't keep up with Alan Scarlett. You are everywhere. But you really focus on this community in terms of giving back. Talk to me about how many snowsuits Giant Tiger works with the Snowsuit Fund to make sure that little ones are warm.
So every year we make a donation of just shy of $30,000 in snowsuits. Now, the good news there is that, as our customers know, our buyers are phenomenal at finding deals and making those dollars stretch. And so we're able to take the dollars and make them go as far as possible, which means we bring in just under 600 snowsuits every year.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of snowsuits.
It's a lot of
It's amazing.
snowsuits. It is a giant truck that drops them off.
No kidding. Is Friendly there?
Absolutely.
Absolutely
We don't
friendly.
go anywhere without Friendly,
Yeah,
except today. But yeah, he's at all the snowsuit
He's
drop-offs.
napping today,
Exactly.
that's fine. But in terms of that, I mean, I think about 600 snowsuits, but immediately it's 600 kids.
That's
what I think about, right?
That's
Yeah.
it. It's 600 community members and families that are impacted by this donation. You know, Mr. Reed's legacy is enormous. It's giant, actually, one would say. But it lives in all of our charitable donations. It lives through our franchise partners. And to know that those snowsuits, because of him, go to 600 children in our community to keep them warm, keep them learning, keep them engaged in school, that's just incredible.
And, you know, as the leader of Giant Tiger, Gordon Reed, when he started this company, and now you're the president of a company, and you're carrying on that culture in your organization. How important is it for you to show your team members that at the core, you have this in your DNA as well?
Yeah, of course, it's really big. It's part of our DNA as well. I think it's our corporate responsibility to give back to the community. And at the end of the day, Ottawa is full of nonprofits and lots of places where you can put your money, but I particularly like this one because it's a lot of the other organizations are burdened by high expenses. This one's run very lean. It's very impactful, so your dollars actually count and go towards the cause directly.
Yeah, it really is incredible. And when I think about where Giant Tigers are in our community, it's not lost on me that in many ways you're in the communities that maybe need the Snowsuit Fund a little bit more.
Absolutely. And again, that's part of making sure that we are impacting the communities that we are so proud to call home and the customers that we serve every single day. The way that we got involved in the Snowsuit Fund many, many, many years ago was actually Mr. Reed in our very first store listening to a parent have to make the decision between groceries and a snowsuit.
Wow.
And he knew that no parent should ever have to make that choice. And so again, it's really about making that tangible difference every single day for the people that we serve.
It's emotional to hear that.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I have a really hard time hearing that. Is it emotional for you?
Absolutely. I mean, the reason I jumped on is I have kids as well, and as a parent, one day I dropped my daughter off for school, and I noticed her friend didn't have a jacket, and it was getting into that 5 and 0 degrees, and we were fortunate that we had some extra snowsuits at home because our children are weeds, and I told her just bring it to her subtly and give it to her, and she was really happy. And it was a small thing for us to do, but a really big thing for her to receive. And when I found out we could be really a big part of the Snowsuit Fund, I jumped on board. So we do all of their IT, and we donate back the services, the money from the services to the organization. And then now we're sponsoring the Snowball, so it's amazing.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. If there's one thing I know about Giant Tiger staff is that you go strong, obviously all year long. But this giving season, you are so busy. Those stores are stocked. Obviously, you're selling lots of goods, but you also manage to put time aside to make sure that staff are involved. How excited are they to be involved?
They are very excited, and we provide opportunities throughout the year, particularly during the holiday season, but throughout the year for our staff to be engaged and plugged in to organizations throughout Ottawa.
Yeah, it really is. And I think when we think about all of the the opportunities for people to get involved, like you say, there's a lot of charities and nonprofits in the city, but I think there's something tangible about I'm going to take this snowsuit and change someone's life. Is that part of it for you?
Yeah, it's very easy to do, and it's very rewarding because I don't think any child should go cold, and unfortunately we have that snow here, so we love it or hate it, but we have to deal with it, and I think it's something that we can do that easily changes a child's mind in the morning when they get up and they know they're going to school and they're warm.
I don't know about you. I mean, I'm old. You're not old, but I think back to I'm 53 now. I grew up in Deep River, and I swear, I mean, as a child, you think the snow is like 5 times bigger than it is. But I remember, heading out and literally being out there for the day, and all of those memories that I created with my friends. We want every child, and whether they're coming from Syria or they're coming from Ukraine or coming from wherever, to make Canada their home. We want to make sure that they can experience the canal and all the snowmen making and all the angel making and all of that, right?
That's it. These are their core memories, and they're so pivotal to childhood. And we know that when kids are warm, they're learning better in school. They're having those social connections with their friends, and there's that sense of belonging and community that comes with it. So it's so incredibly important to make sure that no child goes without a snowsuit this winter.
Absolutely. And the snowball, getting ready for 2025's version.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
It's going to be great. I
They
can't
just
wait.
announced the date, so we're all excited, and we're looking forward to it. And then also we're looking to help out in the depot. But a fun fact, it's a hot ticket in the city.
It is.
If you want to get in, you got to get in fast.
believe
Everybody
me.
wants to help, and that's an amazing thing to see. Like that they actually have too many volunteers, or they have too many people helping out, and that's awesome.
Yeah, and it always feels like a bit of a homecoming.
Yeah.
I always see everybody there
Yeah.
at the snowball, so we want to make sure that
Yeah.
that we're doing that. We only have a couple of minutes, but what would you say to maybe another corporation that's maybe sitting on the sidelines a bit? Invite them in, Allison, to be part of this.
I would tell them to jump in with both feet. This is a phenomenal organization that truly makes a difference in our community, and it is such a wonderful organization to be a part of. Our staff know that it makes a difference, our customers know that it makes a difference, and corporately we are so proud to be a partner of the Snowsuit Funds.
Oh, beautifully said. And have you told your children how much you're involved now?
Yeah, actually, I did. And part of coming to the depot and helping out, I engaged with my daughter. We did Shepherds of Good Hope a couple weeks ago, and she had an amazing time. She's 14, so it's nice for her to get out and help in the community and learn how to give back and see. You know, sometimes kids are sheltered from the troubles, so it's good for them to get out and see other things that are in the world and experience that.
No,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I think about all of the opportunities to raise money as well. We know all the different corporations that have gotten involved. Obviously, the donation from you, sponsor from yourself. I mean, it really does take a village, if you will.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's incredible. And when you think about, you know, obviously the opportunity to do dinner in a box, is that something you've ever done? Are you going to do it this year?
I'm doing it this year.
Okay,
it
fantastic.
sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it does. I was like, Stephen Bechta,
Yeah.
Italian food, and the Snowsuit Fund. Yeah, I think I'm in. Yeah.
And no grocery shopping.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. I like that. And just something a little bit different, right? I mean, as you know, you're out a lot. I'm out a lot. You're
Yeah,
out a lot.
we're all busy.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice to do something at home.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And a great way to bring people together.
It is, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful that we've had this opportunity to connect and the opportunity, of course, to say something to Joanne Andrews. I'd love you
Yeah.
to say something to Joanne Andrews about her commitment to this organization. What would you say, John?
Well, her commitment's unmatched. And she's been doing it her whole life. You can't put any money onto that. That's amazing. She's an angel.
Yeah.
There's not many people that do that. We take care of a lot of nonprofits, and it really is a labor of love. So for her, it's an amazing accomplishment and quite a feat. And without her, I mean, there would be a lot of cold children. And I think that she's impacted the community in more ways than we can imagine.
Beautifully said. Anything to add?
I would just say what a phenomenal legacy that has a tremendous halo effect that is changing people's lives, and that's something she should be incredibly proud of.
Beautifully said. Allison Scarlett, thank you so much as always from Giant Tiger and from Integra IT, my apologies, from Integra IT, John Robinson. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm Sam Laprade. This is an hour to give. Stay with us. We're not finished yet talking about the Snowsuit Fund. Come on back. I'm hoping today we've inspired you to get involved with the Snowsuit Fund, whether that's making a direct donation or participating in so many of the different fundraising activities. We wanted to spend some time today with Kayla Human, and she's going to spend time with us today talking about her story and the Snowsuit Fund. Yes. Kayla, how are you? Good. You're a business leader in this community.
I am, yes.
And we just discovered before we went on air that I've driven by your business about 100 times. And tell us a little bit about what you do.
So I own a baby and kids boutique in Stittsville. We start at newborn. We go all the way up to 6, 7 years old. We offer everything. So we do toys, books, clothing, strollers, car seats. We do it all. Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. And in beautiful Stittsville, which is a very hustling, bustling kind of community, which is wonderful. This is an opportunity for us today to talk about the Snowsuit Fund. And as a business owner, you would get the importance of the Snowsuit Fund, but you have even a deeper story. Take me back to when you were a young girl.
So my journey with the Snowsuit Fund actually started when I was 6, 7 years old. My parents were going through separation. My mom was navigating being a single parent, and she just needed a little bit of help to get off of her feet and try to figure it all out. My mom's Aunt Joan actually volunteered at the Ottawa Snowsuit Fund. So she told my mom about the foundation and how they could help us. So that is how we found out about the foundation. We went down and we got a snowsuit.
We have something in common. I'm an only child.
Okay.
And,
Yes,
and you're an only child.
Yes.
And so, there's something about the bond. My mom as well, she was a fantastic mom, obviously. I'm a single mom as well.
Okay.
And so, and I grew up with a mom and a dad, but I mean, it can be sometimes very stressful for families to make sure they have everything that they need. So as an only child, do you remember that moment with your mom, or is it lost in your memories?
No, I actually do remember that moment with my mom. So I think there's something to be said about the way that the Snowsuit Fund goes about giving a snowsuit to a child. And it just, like, as a child, I just remember going in and it just felt like I was just picking out a snowsuit. I was going to any other store and just picking out a snowsuit. They gave me the option what my favorite color was, if I wanted like a 1-piece or a 2-piece. And so I was able to pick out what I liked, and at 6 years old, that was amazing to do. And then also be able to choose all the accessories that go with it. So matching hats and mittens and so we used the Snowsuit Fund for 2 years, and I remember each of those visits.
And I think it's really important, Killa, to really talk about that people do go once or twice, or maybe 3 or 4 years, and it's not their whole story, it's a chapter in their book. But the fact that, and we've talked about the word dignity already today, the fact it's done in a dignified way, and the power of choice.
Yes.
How important that was for you to remember that all these years later.
It sticks with me to this day. And I think just like the way that they do it is absolutely amazing.
And look at you today, a business owner.
I know.
And so when you had the chance to, as a business owner, give back, there was no question.
There was absolutely no question at all. So we do fundraising every year. Well, I'm in my 3rd year of business now. So when we started, I was like, okay, how can we do this? How can we give back to a foundation that is very important to me? And we actually have photos and visits with Santa every year. So Santa comes down from the North Pole and he visits with the kids at the store, and we are able to raise we're able to raise money for the Snowsuit Fund. Yes.
Yeah. Be proud, because
We
it's
are.
a lot of money.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So last year we donated $11,000 to the Snowsuit Fund, and then this year we're on target for that amount as well too.
Because people know about it, they
They
love
do.
it,
They
and
do.
so they're booking really quickly for that.
They are booking really quickly. So I remember when I first launched it, I thought, okay, is anyone actually going to want to come and visit Santa? And last year it sold out in 2 minutes. And then this year it was, I think, like 1 minute and 20 seconds. We always have our phone on. We're like, okay, how fast is this going to go? So it's been absolutely amazing. And the kids enjoy it. They get to have a visit with Santa, and it's magical. And again, we just get to raise money for the Snowsuit Fund, which is perfect.
And so, I don't want to get emotional, but does it dawn on you that there's going to be a 6 or 7 year old little girl that maybe own a business in 20 or 25 years
For
from now?
sure. So when last year I walked into the foundation with my mom, and I remember getting out of the truck. She had bags of snowsuits, and I just stood back and I was like, there was a year, like years ago, this was my mom walking in here getting a snowsuit for her daughter and just trying to make it work and get by. And now we're able to get back and give back, and it was a full circle moment. Wow. And I'm forever grateful for the Snowsuit Fund for that.
And like those full circle moments, like I think that's the definition of community.
For sure. Honestly, my customers, my community too, are absolutely amazing. We have customers that drop. I have a truckload of snowsuits right now.
Wow.
Like I feel every month we are dropping off snowsuits, whether that is used in really good condition snowsuits. And for me, I have families that, you might buy a snowsuit at the end of the season and thinking it'll fit because your kids grow really quickly. Yeah. And so they just drop it off, new tags, and then we just bring it down to the depot. So it is, funds raised from our events and then also donations from the community, and they just drop it right off at the store.
I've made that mistake, just so you know.
Oh, yeah.
where I'm like, oh wow, that size 8 will fit her next year, and then she's like a 10.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but the fact that people are just so quickly to say, you know what, let some other child wear that this year, and make that donation, I think is phenomenal.
It is. I'm very grateful for my customers in the community.
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you love being a business owner?
I do. I've always worked in retail. I've really always worked in kids and baby retail as well too. And I think the end goal was to always have my own store. Yeah. And I mean, it's a lot of work, but it does pay off. And I don't think I'll do anything else. Like, I'm just going to keep going.
What I always say about people that own businesses is they'd rather work 70 hours for themselves than 40 for someone else.
It's so true.
I know.
It is. You can catch me like 11 o'clock and I'm just like sitting there just working away. But, the payoff's good, and I truly love what I do, and I love it.
And what I love is that people can make a donation, obviously, to the Snowsuit Fund, as an individual. But then we have bigger corporations like we saw with Integra IT and we saw with Giant Tiger.
Yes.
And then we have businesses like yours, which are like right heart in the community and just have this opportunity to be a small business, but you can still give back in a very meaningful way.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just a little house on Main Street and on Stittsville Main Street, and I mean, it's good.
You've got such a great location, though.
We do. So it's just, the West End is growing very quickly, and like I said, we're in our third year, and it's been phenomenal.
So tell me about the very first day you walk into that little house on Main Street and say, okay, I'm going to create a business here.
To tell you the truth, I don't even think it's actually hit me 3 years into, and I don't know if it really ever will. Yeah. I think it's just kind of stand back and you're like, okay, we're going to do this. And I have a partner that is so supportive, and it's a dream come true. And there's like so many dreams that I'm living out in that store, and I'm very grateful.
And tell me about your mom.
My mom is absolutely amazing. I'm the only child, so we do have a very close bond. And looking back, she did everything that she possibly could to give me the best childhood possible. And I love her. She's the absolute best. I know that she's very proud of what I'm doing, and there is a piece of me that, is doing this for her, and yeah.
And I think it's so important because, just like you mentioned how dignified it was for you to get the snowsuit, I think it's also, there's no shame in asking for help.
There isn't.
And so I think I'm so happy you're sharing your story, because I think more parents that need help can put up their hand and say, actually, I need some help.
Yeah, and my mom even said that, like, she questioned it, and she's like, okay, like, we'll try to do it. We'll try not to go to the Snowsuit Fund, but it's there to help people that need it, and it's okay to need help. it truly is okay to need help. And now that I'm an adult and I look back at, you know, where my mom was at that time, to know that the Snowsuit Fund alleviated some stress on her at that moment, that I will always be grateful for the Snowsuit Fund, that they were able to help my mom.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
And really interesting perspective. Really
Yes.
interesting perspective. What would you say to other small businesses that wonder if they can make a dent in what the Snowsuit Fund needs to do?
Honestly, it's so easy. I mean, we go a little extra and have Santa come visit, but it's easy. You just gotta, like, I'm very active on social media, and I think that I get across to a lot of people. So it's easy, even if you're a drop-off center, even if you're just doing like I said, it's $50 for a new snowsuit, and even if it's, you know, you raise $500, that's a couple snowsuits. So it's not that hard, and you can do it.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for sharing your story. And I'm sorry that I made you cry
It's
a little
okay.
bit.
It's okay.
But it's just so emotional to me. I think I'm just so proud of you as well. I know we just
Thank
met,
you.
but I think it's
Thank you.
fantastic.
I
Thank you.
appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Kayla Human sharing her story today all about the Snowsuit Fund. I know we've inspired you today. So you want to watch for the 50-50, those smile cookies from Tim Hortons, that dinner in a box, the snowball. But if you and your corporation want to get together and help out, I know the Snowsuit Fund would be very grateful. We want all those little ones to be in their snowsuits, out there playing in the snow, creating those memories for this upcoming winter season. I'm Sam Laprade. This is An Hour to Give. Thanks for joining me.